This week, as Labour's autumn conference looms like a guillotine over Keir Starmer's flailing premiership, Andy Burnham, the so-called king in the north, has been strutting back into the spotlight with a barrage of interviews. All while his party leader clings onto his job by the skin of his teeth. Well, I'm Alex Armstrong and this is GB News Originals. While number 10 is imploding, Burnham's been on a media blitz, hasn't he? Dropping his so-called plan to turn the country around. Well, he's talking to the Telegraph, isn't he, as well? Splashing across the front page of the New Statesman. There's lovely shots of him. It looks very prime ministerial, doesn't it? Demanding wholesale change to fend off Reform UK's existential threat to Labour. But let's just pause here, because you might think, hang on a second, isn't Burnham a mayor? Isn't he the man running Manchester? He's not even an MP. For him to actually get into power, to actually mount a challenge to Keir Starmer, it would take at least a by-election, a new seat coming available, and of course, end up having to climb the greasy pole of Labour's internal politics. And let's get this real, that's even before he even got near a leadership ballot. This is not a coronation waiting to happen that Burnham thinks it might be. I think it's fantasy politics and a party that is splintering and fracturing, completely lost for an identity. And what's Burnham's big plan to save the country? Well, apparently it's to start a regional and class war, hike up council tax on what he calls posh London and South East homes to fund a £40 billion borrowing binge for council houses. Yeah, nothing screams fiscal prudence like saddling taxpayers with eye-watering new levels of debt and taxes while ignoring the real root of the housing crisis: over-regulation and mass migration. Well, Burnham wants to slash income tax for low earners too. That sounds good, don't get me wrong. But in the meantime, he wants to whack on a 50p top rate of tax for high flyers, which, now let's be honest, would see Heathrow fully booked with one-way tickets to Dubai. The rich fleeing, the treasury emptier than Burnham's leadership ambitions. That's what it would cost. And then there's the piece de la résistance: nationalise housing, energy, water and rail. Put it all under public control to roll back the 1980s, Burnham claims. This isn't bold leadership, is it? It's bonkers. It's Corbynism on steroids.
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living, and maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade, and in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind the more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver, and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
And don't forget Andy Burnham's record. Let's talk about the skeletons in the closet, shall we? Manchester's grooming gang scandal. Well, his 2017 assurance reviews into child sexual exploitation were exposed as completely toothless as a BBC documentary spoke about it. Well, in 2024, respected experts Newsom and Ridgway resigned in protest, saying data was being withheld from their review. Baroness Casey called the whole probe a farce. And by June this year, Burnham was forced to backtrack, suddenly supporting a national inquiry after his failed local efforts. Now, famous campaigner now, Maggie Oliver, called his review a smokescreen. That's pretty damning, isn't it? And still, Greater Manchester Police fail victims despite all these so-called improvements. And Labour MPs are noticing all of this, aren't they? Neil Coyle blasted Burnham as a sideshow distraction, saying if he was a Manchester voter, he'd be sick to the back teeth of a mayor who doesn't even seem to want the job. Another Labour MP told journalists that Burnham's policy agenda is Liz Truss's economics with a flat cap. And sure enough, a viral photo has been doing the rounds. It is a merger of Burnham and Liz Truss's face in an AI image. It's been doing the rounds in Labour MPs' WhatsApp groups, so you couldn't make it up. That's how much of a fracture is in the Labour Party right now. The social media hasn't been kind either. One user on X called him a useless mayor. Another said Manchester needs serious leadership, not a man chasing headlines. And yet there he is, circling above Keir Starmer like a vulture while the government is turning into a carcass. Burnham epitomises vulture politics though, doesn't he? He couldn't win the Labour leadership fair and square when he tried before. So now, with Starmer wobbling, he's trying to swoop in and seize the moment. The problem is, his moment involves half-baked policies that would bankrupt Britain faster than Starmer's U-turns of alienated voters. And here's the real truth. This is a distraction, isn't it? Labour MPs know it, and you know it. Manchester voters know it. I think even Andy Burnham knows this. He's not an MP, he's not in Parliament, and for all his northern swagger, his path to the top job is long, messy, and politically improbable right now. But what he is doing is making noise, a noise that undermines Keir Starmer when the Labour leader is already on the ropes. So, yes, Andy Burnham is back in the headlines. Yes, he's talking up radical plans, but behind the rhetoric and the vanity projects, behind the glossy magazine spreads in the New Statesman and photo ops, lies the same old story, isn't it? A politician chasing power without the substance to wield it and without the honesty to admit his record is one pretty much of failure. So would you like to see Andy Burnham as Prime Minister? Would you prefer him over Sir Keir Starmer? Let me know in the comments below. And do you think it's realistic that Andy Burnham could take over from Keir Starmer anytime soon? Well, I'm Alex Armstrong and this has been GB News Originals. Don't forget to like and subscribe and download our GB News app from the App Store.
At GB News, we believe in the power of free speech. We're not afraid to ask the tough questions, challenge the status quo, and give you a voice. While others silence dissent, we champion the truth. By becoming a GB News member, you're not just supporting free speech, you're defending it. Please consider supporting us today. Together, we'll hold the powerful to account and make sure that your voice is always heard. Simply go to gbnews.com/support and stand with us for what matters most.